All right, our first screencast will have to do with angles, parallel lines, corresponding, alternate interior, all that kind of stuff. So copy this down on whatever paper you're going to use, and notice that I have these two lines being parallel, and then I just have two different transversals going through at different places. Now you don't just have to find the angles that it asks you. It's looking for angles 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but I always told you that I try to find all of them because sometimes that leads you to find the ones that you need. So like for example, if that's 50, that's 50. If this is 50 again, that's corresponding, so that's 50. If this is 110, then that's 110. What's right next to 110? 110 and 70 make 180. So just for fun, put a 70 there, that's vertical. We have another 50 here, and you don't have to do this in the same order. What else do we know? I just saw same side interior right here. So if this is 110, then this has to be 70, or you have alternate interior with 70, either way. Or you have corresponding with 70, either way. What's right next to 50? 50 and 130 make 180. Those are vertical. 70 right here is vertical with this 70 right here. And I think I found everything I can possibly find. More than I needed, but it was good practice. You have vertical, alternate interior. You had some choices on how to do a few, but just some 8th grade practice on angles because that might show up within a problem somewhere. A quick comparison between these two algebra problems, two parallel lines and a transversal. If you can call them alternate exterior, but if you just look at them, they're both obtuse, so they have to be equal to each other. So you solve it like that, add 4 to both sides, and you can take it from there, divide by 8. But this one, they're same side interior, but more importantly, one's acute and one's obtuse, so they're not the same size. So when that happens, you add them up and they equal 180. So just know the difference between when they're the same and when they're different. They're either equal or equal to 180. All right, draw this picture, which is just line AB, they're calling it, and sort of like a V of angles here that meet right on the line. They're telling you that this one's 82, and these two are unknown. They're unknown, but they're both the same unknown. They're both letter D. So what do we know about this whole thing here? That's 180. So we have D and 82 and D equal 180. 2D plus 82 equals 180. And then 2D equals 98. Divide by 2 and you have your answer for D. We could figure that out only because both unknowns were the same, so 2Ds. Similar problem here, except instead of having it like 180, we have a 360. Right, all the way around is 360. We basically have 91 and 91 and 91 plus 3 identical G's equal 360. All of the angles equal 360. So you have 91 3 times, 273. You have 3 G's equal 360. And then you would just subtract 273 and divide by 3, and I want you to show that work down here. Same thing here. You have, you're not sure 100% that these two are 180. Even if you did, you might be able to find X, but you still wouldn't be able to find that unless you doubled it. But really, if you go back to the idea that this might not be a straight line. So if you're not sure, do what we did in the last problem and take this whole circle and say 85 and 35 is 120. 2x and x is going to be 3x. The whole circle is 360, and take it from there. This problem isn't as easy. You can't just go all the way around 360 because you don't know this and you don't know this. Or do you? Doesn't have it labeled, but you have vertical angles here. So you could move this x minus 11 to here because it's vertical, and you could move this x minus 10 to here because that's vertical. And then you have a couple of choices to solve for x and y. You have a straight line right here, so you could add these three up and make it equal 180. And the reason you can do that is because you have an x, and an x. So you have one variable you're allowed to do that. So let's do that first. X minus 11 and 3x plus 6 and x minus 10 all add up to 180. So that's 3, 4, 5 x's. And then negative 11 plus 6 minus 10. We're combining that, and that. That would be negative 15 equals 180. I'm going to add back to both sides. 5x equals 195. And x would be 39. So if x is 39, that's great, but how does it help us find y? Because the bottom half of this, if you did it my way, has two different variables in it. But if you put in 39 right here, you now have 39 minus 10. So this would be 29 degrees. And here you have 39 minus 11. That's 28 degrees. So now you just have 29 plus 28 plus y equals 180. So 57 plus y equals 180. Subtract 57 and you get 123. Really quick on this one, you have parallel lines going here and here and two different transversals, which is kind of the confusing part. But if you look closely and you just covered up that one, 54 is corresponding with f. So f is 54. Right? So sometimes you have too much information, your eyes see too much, so just cover up part of it. That's 54. And on the other side, on this side, you have an obtuse angle 112, meaning what's right next to it? 180 minus 112, which would be 68 here, and now you have alternate interior with 68. Okay, now this one's looking for that obtuse angle I in the middle there. And we talked about the word auxiliary the other day. It just means adding lines or extending lines. If you take this parallel line and you extend it like that, and you take this parallel line and extend it like that, and then I'm going to extend this transversal like that, and I'm going to extend this transversal like that. You have to be neat and use a ruler to make this work. What you notice is you've created a triangle in here and a triangle in here. So if this angle is 117, then this one is 180 minus 117. So we have 63 right here. If this angle is 129, then this one is 51. The next thing I'm seeing is this parallel line and this parallel line with this transversal. If this is 63, then this is alternate interior 63, because that's the same transversal. Now, I'm going to zoom in and look at this triangle. I only have one more missing angle there. So 63 and 51 is 114. If you subtract that from 180, you get 66 right there. The final step would be those two angles add up to 180, and that one's angle I. So if you got lost there, go back and redraw it from the beginning when I first started this and extend the lines and redo it. Alright, so you're going to submit all of this to me on Friday. This will be your first page or two, however much it took you to do, You're going to staple it all together, and then tomorrow morning you'll have another one to add to this.